Hello everybody and welcome back to Performance on Wheels. I recently purchased the best car you can buy under $25,000 today, which is the 2022 newly redesigned Kia Forte GT. Who knew we were ever going to be at a time in life where one of the best cars on the market is a Kia? And a lot of them are right now.
This is very true. Like when you were a kid,
Yeah.
Kia was pretty new to the country, right?
Yep.
So it was slightly before that, but I remember being in some friends' cars and the Kias were still like a laughing stock of automobiles on the road.
And they were up until about 2 years ago. I mean,
they've continued their advancement year after year, whether it's their quality, whether it's their design, whether it's just enhancing their perspective by people. Everything has continued to advance, but it shows you how long it's taken. It's taken 20 plus years for it to be a respected car on the road.
and I think it is one of the most respected now because it has the best warranty by far. Kia, Hyundai, as well as Genesis carry the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which is best in class by it's a ton. I mean, it destroys everything else in its class.
They clearly had to do something to set themselves apart from all the competition they have their roots in the ground, right?
Yep.
So Kia's been working on getting their roots in the ground, and they've done that. You go into their SUV class, and that's like the new ultimate soccer mom car. We're talking about the Telluride or the Palisade.
Yeah, the Telluride, the Palisade, even the Sorento recently got a redesign, and the Sportage now is one of the best looking SUVs on the market in my opinion.
Absolutely. Let's get into the review today on the 2022 Kia Forte GT2. This is essentially the cream of the crop when it comes to the Forte lineup, right?
Correct. Yeah, this is about as high as an option as you can get. So the highest option base is the Kia Forte GT manual. It starts at $1,000 more than this, which has the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. I wanted to get the manual. I love manuals. However, when you opt for the manual, you miss out on optioning a lot of different options on this car, which I think is a big miss from Kia. You can't get stuff like the cooled seats. You can't get stuff like, yeah, you can't, there's just a bunch of stuff that you miss out on. A lot of the safety features are gone, and I think that's kind of silly. I don't get why you can't option those in.
So am I accurate in saying that once we put the GT badge onto the Forte, we're now comparing this car to like the Civic Si, the Jetta GLI,
Correct.
the Elantra N, so the
N-Line.
the compact vision performance versions of all the other cars.
Yes. So here's the thing though, which is really interesting. This between Kia and Hyundai, it can get a little bit confusing. So GT is Kia's high performance lineup, which is really just sort of a minor upgrade, a minor step up over the one under it. However, Hyundai's N-Line is the same thing as Kia's GT. So it's a minor upgrade, a minor performance thing. But Hyundai also has N, which is their extremely high performance lineup. Kia does not have an extremely high performance lineup. GT is just a minor step up above the one below.
Yeah, and we're talking about sport-tuned suspension, we're talking about sport-tuned exhaust.
Yep, we also have larger brakes, we have a completely different engine and transmission options.
50 more horsepower over the base.
It's a very substantial amount, yes, and then a totally different interior as well.
And the performance numbers are right in line there with the main competition being the Civic Si.
And this one fully decked out, every option on it is still cheaper than a base Civic Si.
Right, that's very cool. Let's just talk about the design really quick. So it's a striking car. It's redesigned in 2022.
Yes, it is. It is still basically the same vehicle as 2021 except for a redesign. So we still have the same power plant, pretty much the same suspension and all that stuff, even the same wheels.
Right.
But we got a front end redesign, somewhat of an interior redesign, and a rear end redesign.
And I did read with that redesign, it's the exact same wheelbase. However, the car did get substantially longer, about 3 inches longer.
Yep.
It got just a hair wider, so we're getting a little more interior space, and it also gives it a better profile, almost like a a sport back design where we have a longer hood and a shorter trunk, but still have some good trunk space and usable space inside as well.
I do really like the look of the Forte GT. It's striking up front, it's striking in the rear, but it's a little lackluster on the sides, in my opinion.
Good assessment.
They tried to give it a nice side profile with giving it these large 18-inch wheels, but at the same time, it just isn't like the Honda. It doesn't have the insane side profile.
When you mention those 18-inch wheels, those are specific to the GT2, right?
No, those are specific to the GT. So if you move down to the GT line, you go to 17-inch wheels, and as you keep going down, you move down 1 inch of wheel.
Gotcha.
So you start with the 15, 16, 17, 18.
So I like the overall concept of how they mix up the textures and colors, not only on the exterior, but the interior of the car, but they also blend them together. So like, for example, the Kia logo that's kind of in this brushed stainless, we'll see similar textures and colors throughout the trim pieces of the car.
Yeah, I really like this chrome strip that runs across the front here, chips on over here. I really like that design and how it matches the Kia logo. I do dig that.
Headlights are pretty cool. They're striking from a distance. They have the LEDs that are the daytime running. You have LED headlights and LED fog lights.
You do. The LED fog lights are new for the 2022 model. That wasn't on there previously based on everything that I have heard. And then also the turn signals are these 3 upper ones right here. So those turn amber.
Yeah, and I like the little red accents. Is that GT?
That is no. So those start in the GT line.
Okay.
The GT line is basically the GT's exterior and interior, minus the rear bumper is different, the exhaust is different, and the seats are a little bit different. So you can get the same seat, but instead of saying GT, it says GT line.
Cool.
Basically.
Yeah, they definitely add a little flair, and then you got your cruise control radar down below, and a lot of just fun, different designs. They didn't carry the texture. From the upper grille to the lower grille, we have different openings, different texture, different material. It just really keeps things interesting as you look around.
And if you do look at this down low, it actually does look pretty aggressive. You can see the intercooler back there, the radiator up behind it. It's just a pretty open design, and it does look pretty aggressive for what it is.
What I do like about this car, and hopefully I can explain this well, is it's like, if my memory is correct, the current designer's last big job was over at Audi. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay, so there's a lot of the German influence that is within the Forte GT. There
it's
really
within
is.
all of Kia, to be honest.
Yeah, so...
this is what I find funny as well. Kia is actually more American than most American cars. We actually drove by their main production plant, which was in what, Tennessee?
Yeah, we passed a Hyundai and a Kia. One was in Alabama and one was in Tennessee, I believe. But that's not where this one's made. So this one's actually being shipped over from Mexico.
Yep.
The transmission's coming from Kia. A bulk of the parts are being assembled and manufactured in Mexico. I think it's 40%. 45 still coming from Korea, and then US and Canada's got the lacking 15% or whatever. But this car is being imported from Mexico, very similar to my BMW.
Yep, very similar to your BMW.
Yeah, and so getting back to the items that kind of stick out as you drive the German cars, the BMW, the Mercedes, the Audis, the sport-tuned exhaust on the GT line, right? So on the GT?
Yeah, you said GT line. Two trims, 2 different trims.
Gotcha, thank you. So the shifts, you can hear this both in the car and out of the car. You have that dual clutch transmission with that automatic, but those shifts are blah, blah, blah. Right? Very similar to a lot of Mercedes, Audi, BMW cars.
This is what I don't like about this transmission. It is a really fast shifting. It's a fun transmission in the high revs, don't get me wrong. But down low, it is super clunky. It feels like a manual. I mean, you get the head jerks when you're just barely pressing the gas, and that's just in the normal drive mode.
Yep.
I do wish it was a bit more refined, absolutely. But at the same time, it's a $20-something thousand car. It's not a $50,000 Audi.
For sure, for sure. The other items are just functionality-wise. So you have like a usable app that you can do everything that you can do on a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 car, right?
Yep, control climate, heated seats, cooled seats, all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's really what sets the Kia apart from the competition is, yes, at the end of the day, if you're looking specifically at the car and driving this car compared to some of the competition, they're still working on a few things, but it's comparable, right?
It is, absolutely.
But when you take the entire picture, when you're talking about all the options, the warranty, the drivetrain, the performance, the apps, the everything.
Yep.
Like, it's kind of hard not to take a really close look at Kia and the Forte specifically. Let's move to the back of the car before we hop inside, take a peek in there, and talk about what's to come with the Forte in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So this vehicle is covered under a warranty, so I'm not going to do anything crazy by any means. The only things I plan to do is just an intake and an exhaust.
Enhance the driving experience.
Enhance the driving experience, yeah. So
not looking for power, just looking for the experience.
Exactly.
Right?
In all honesty, it's a 200 horsepower car. Even if I do anything to it, it's not going to be like wow or worth it. If anything, the only things I'll be doing is handling stuff. It's really fun in the corners. It has really impressed me. I do plan to autocross this car. There'll be videos to come on that. But even with the Kumo tire, this is the other funny thing about the manual versus the auto. So with the manual, you get Pilot Sport tires.
Woo!
Okay. Yeah, very nice, you know, summer tires from Michelin. But if you get the automatic, you don't even have an option. But you get Kumo all-season tires.
I love some Kumos. They're respectable, but yeah, that is interesting.
It's just weird to me that that's how they have it set up.
So they're clearly seeking people that want more of the driving experience or performance experience with the manual, where they're looking for someone that's just looking for the fun factor, maybe just a fun sports car when you get that automatic.
Absolutely, yeah. So there will be autocross videos to come. I think this thing's going to be a riot around the autocross course. It has really impressed me around corners. It's very planted. It handles quite well. With the tires that are on it, I have experienced quite a bit of understeer every now and then. But if I throw some sticky tires on it, I do think this thing would just handle like a little pocket rocket.
So we both like the front of the car. We think it's good. It looks all right. Good design cues. The side of the car is underwhelming. And you get to the back, and I really like the way that they tie a lot of the front end and the design cues into the back end.
I agree.
It's a sporty rear end as well, right?
I do really like the rear end of this. I love the red lip. This is specific to the GT, this rear diffuser. In the GT line, that is what I was talking about. You don't get that rear diffuser. Same with the dual quad or dual just chrome exhaust or stainless steel
we'll have
exhaust.
to get this up on the lift. We'll have it on the lift to see what that underside looks like.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot going on down there.
No, there's not. With it being front wheel drive, it's pretty lackluster. But also another difference between the GT line is the entire rear end of the car. So the GT line is just simple suspension setup. The GT, we go to a dual rear suspension setup, individual rear suspension setup, versus a just standard crossbar across the whole rear.
Cool.
So yeah.
Like the little lip put on there. It's got the color contrast. Kia's new logo looks
that is specific
striking.
to 2022. All Kia vehicles now have the new Kia logo.
And we also have LED tail lights back here, which look really nice when they're illuminated.
And the one thing that they skimped out on for some reason is the turn signals. I don't know why they did this, but I mean, come on. They just kind of tacked them on down here, and they're not LED like.
Are those? I would assume that's shared reverse light as well, huh?
I do believe so. Yes.
Let's check that out.
I do find this to be kind of fun. If you just walk up to the trunk of this thing, it has an automatic opening trunk. So if your hands are full, the trunk opens right on up if you're standing back here. I think that's really slick.
Is that a feature you turn on, or
yes,
how does that work?
You can turn it on in the settings.
And you simply just walk up to the trunk. There's no foot leaving.
You just walk up to the trunk.
Okay, and that actually shows you how good of a size trunk this is.
It's huge.
Which is great,
It's
right?
super spacious. You can also fold down the rear seat, so I'm going to be able to put my ski stuff in here if I want to go skiing, and there's plenty of room in back.
Yeah, the practicality of the Forte is a lot greater than it used to be.
Yeah, it's actually
like
a super
every
roomy
car, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Like this one's 3 inches bigger. They increase the rigidity, so you have a better driving experience than the Forte of the past.
Yep.
Some say it's a little too harsh when you compare it to the competition.
It is definitely a bit harsh over bumps for a daily driver.
For sure. But it's fun, right?
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's a fun daily driver, absolutely. And it's actually, in my opinion, and based on the forums that I've joined, a little bit underrated for the fuel economy. So I think they say it averages like 26 miles per gallon on the sticker. Since I've owned the car, I've been in the 32 to 36 range almost every time I've driven it.
That's impressive, and knowing you're not necessarily light on the throttle.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive. And also Kia designed these engines to not take premium fuel. So they are turbo engines, but Kia says you can put 87 in them. And since it has a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, I'm going to listen to it.
It is, right?
Yep.
We got our little rear view camera there. We got our park sensors. All those safety features are standard, like regardless of the Kia, essentially, right?
Well, yeah, all of the main safety stuff is standard. However, you can put a technology package on this, which is included in the GT2 package.
And that's where you get your highway assist.
You get the highway driving assist, navigation-based smart cruise control, as well as an electronic parking brake and getting rid of that hand e-brake.
Cool. Let's take a peek on the interior. A couple of those side design elements worth mentioning are that is the mirror turn signal. We have our blind spot assist. With the key fob in your pocket, you have that approach lighting that will illuminate behind the door handles. We have our lock and unlock right on that door handle. Getting into the Forte, it's fairly easy to get in, and we'll hop in the back seat here just a second. The materials are nice, right? So there is some leatherette. There's also some leather here. But it's a nice place to be, it really is. The seats hug you nice, they're performance oriented. The material, the leather, it does feel nice. The steering wheel, it's got the right look, it's got the right texture. Let's just take a peek where I am in the back seat of the Forte, being that I'm 6 feet tall. We do have a little obstacle to get out of the way here, but we'll hop back here and you can see that there is plenty of room. I actually rode in the back seat of the Forte last night, kind of checking things out. I have my armrest. The materials are nice. Again, there's enough texture change, there's enough headroom, there's enough legroom with a 6 foot tall driver up front to have 4 6 foot tall adults. It's a great practical car that can put a smile on your face.
I just wanted to correct a couple of things that my dad just said. He brought up that the interior is leather, and it is actually not. So this is Syntex material, and you get this when you get the GT2 package. You cannot get real leather on any of the trims of the Forte. There's some other Kia models that you can get real leather in. However, in the Forte, the nicest seating material you can get is Syntex, which does feel just like leather. It looks just like leather, and personally, I prefer it because it doesn't wear like leather, and it smells quite good as well. I do really like it. And with the Syntex materials in the GT2 package, you do get those cooled seats as well. As you can see that they have some of those dots in there for ventilation. I just wanted to go over some of the other things that you get with the GT2 package. So you get this here power sunroof. You do not get that unless you get the GT2 package. It is quite an expensive option. It's $2,200, but there's a lot included. Like I mentioned earlier, you get those full Syntex leather seats. You get a 10-way power adjustable driver's seat with lumbar. The passenger seat is still manually operated. You do get the more or upgraded sound system. So it goes from a 6-speaker system to an 8-speaker Harman Kardon system with a subwoofer. Right here on the dash, if you want to take a peek, there is a GT logo as well as some minor ambient lighting built into the doors that you have a full color wheel array to be able to change the color to whatever you like. What you also get with the GT2 package is the safety stuff. So you get highway or navigation-based cruise control, highway driving assist, rear parking sensors, and some other stuff like that. The GT2 package really does deck this thing out, and in my opinion, it's well worth $2,200. This pretty much sums up the video on the introductory of the Forte to the garage. So I just wanted to do a quick video introducing the car to the garage, go over some of the stuff that's on it. But before we wrap it up, let's just minorly talk about the engine that's in here. So this is a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4. This one is, of course, hooked up to that dual clutch transmission, and this engine is widely used across the Kia lineup. However, in this model, the Kia Forte GT, this is the most powerful that this engine is. This engine you can also option into the K5 and some other cars like that. And in those vehicles, this car has about 20 more horsepower than the other ones. It is the same engine, there's nothing different about it. I'm not sure if it's a tune, I'm not sure what they do, but this vehicle produces more power than the rest of them.
In summary, you get a pretty stellar car that looks good. It's got a lot of functionality when it comes to like practicality and daily use. I mean, every door's got storage for water bottles, for additional storage. You got armrests. It feels good to sit in. It's got room. It's got the miles per gallon. It's got enough performance to make you feel at least enough to put a smile on your face. Maybe a grin. Maybe not full-blown smile. Let's be honest.
I have had a few smiles going around corners. Acceleration, it definitely doesn't put a huge grin on your face unless you're coming from something like a Prius.
Okay, let's
this
say
thing's quick if it is.
Puts a smirk on your face.
Yeah.
Let's downgrade it from smile to grin. We're at smirk.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. It is a really fun car to drive. A lot of people do really enjoy these, and I don't blame them. I do think this is a really hard car not to look at if you're looking for a new daily driver, you're coming out of college, you're just looking for something that gets good fuel economy.
Just a daily commuter, let's be honest.
I mean, yeah.
It has, like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's got all the touches that all the premium brands have. And that's what's kind of neat that I don't think a lot of the competition is doing yet. When you're looking at the Hondas, when you're looking at the Hyundais, is pretty much the same as the Kia.
You can't even get something other than cloth. And you can't get cooled seats in the Civic Si.
Right. So that's what just really sets it apart, is you get all the performance, all the amenities, and then some, as well as some of the touches that some of the German, more luxury high-end counterparts give you.
Yeah, so we have quite a few videos coming up on the Forte. I've got a lot of ideas. If you guys have any ideas, please comment down below. But here it is. Welcome to the channel, Kia Forte.
Boom.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Have a great rest of your day.